An absolute giga-chad named Bringle challenged himself to beat Paper Mario the 1000-Year Door without attacking. No jumping, no hammering, and no partner moves. So I challenged myself to do the same thing. Except I made the run even harder. This run is gonna hurt. As we disembark from our boat, which fortunately leaves the scene before I can say anything negative about it, we enter our first battle with Lord Crump. And since we have no items and no star powers, the only action I'm allowed to use is superguard. But after this battle, superguard is banned. Because it negates all damage, that would make this challenge way too easy. So after 5 superguards, Crump goes down, we escape his horde of cronies, and we recruit our first ally, Goombella. And before we move on, I buy as many fire flowers as I can carry. The item limit has been increased in this remake of the game, and that will really help us out, particularly in the early game, because we head underground and fight our first real battle of the challenge against a few Goombas. And before I kill them, let me just say that I allowed Goombella to use the Tattle ability for this run. The only thing it does is reveal enemy HP, which will make the run far more entertaining for you, the viewer, until I get the Peekaboo badge, which does the same thing. So just assume that's happening. Anyway, one fire flower takes out these 3 jokers, I learn to become an airplane, I display my map to the 1000-Year Door, and gain Sweet Treat. And after buying just one more fire flower at the shop, we smack Blooper's Tantacles to engage it in battle. And this fight has never been easier. Because my only damage dealing option is fire flowers, which attack all enemies, the path forward is crystal clear. One fire flower takes out both Tantacles, dropping Blooper to the ground and skipping its turn. 2 more bring it down to 3 health. And once it rises, one more fire flower takes it out, removing it from our path and yielding a juicy coin bonus and opens the path to Petalburg. Before we head to Hooktail Castle for the next star, we need to get a key from Thwomp's fortress. So I grab some more fire flowers, which are actually 20% less expensive here than they are in Rogueport, and I dash on into the dungeon. We have a mandatory battle with 2 clefts to start, and a POW block takes them out in 1 hit. The next mandatory battle is similarly simple, and another POW block removes the 2 enemies from our path. We take a quick break for a pop quiz and to bounce my cat's bum in the air, and then we head down to grab the key. Also, I had my chat vote on which mic cover I should use, and red and orange were tied, so I guess we'll have a double scoop mic for a while. Anyway, the 2 normal fuzzy fights are completed in 1 turn by using a fire flower, and that gets us the Sun and Moonstone, the keys to Hooktail Castle. But our next opponent is a mini-boss, the Gold Fuzzy. And interestingly, none of the fuzzies in this battle can do more than 1 damage, so regular guards make us completely safe. So Gold Fuzzy's 10 HP are taken out by 2 POW blocks and 2 fire flowers. Hooray! So I head back to Petalburg to replenish my supply, get our new partner Koops, and then head into the Dragon's Den. And that brings us to our next mini-boss, the Red Bones and its cronies. I use a fire flower to take out all of the sidekicks in 1 turn, and a second one to take out Red Bones himself. So Mario learns to suck in his papery gut, we grab a froggy sound effects badge, and we head out of Hooktail Castle to replenish our stock of fire flowers again. Fortunately, as I mentioned before, we can now hold up to 15 items, and this matters because of Hooktail's HP. Hooktail has a total of 30 HP, and fire flowers each deal 3 damage. So you'd think that you just need 10 fire flowers to beat Hooktail, right? Right? Well, let's head on in and I'll show you why it isn't that simple. First, let me say that normally the Froggy SFX badge lowers both Hooktail's attack and defense every time Mario uses an attacking move. This made this fight very easy in my Mario-only run of this game, which I will link in the Discridly-Do. But since I can't use normal attacks, that won't happen in this run. And furthermore, with regard to items, yes, Hooktail does only have 30 HP, but that HP is divided into 2 phases. Her first phase has 20 HP, so that will take 8. So I start in with a fire flower, and I get Hooktail tattled for your convenience. And right away, this battle is fire. Hooktail's Flame Breath does 4 damage, leaving Mario with only 5 HP. So the next attack will bring Mario down to 1 HP. Goobella's HP is at 4, so I switch her out to Koops, who has a useful extra defense point. And then I brace myself for the block. But it doesn't matter because I equip the Close Call badge. That causes some attacks to miss if Mario is below 5 HP and Hooktail's claw attack whiffs. So I hit with another Fire Flower and I appeal with Koops because I forgot to restore my star power before this battle. Why am I like this? Anyway, that's good enough to fill it up, and I sweet treat to restore my HP and use a Fire Flower with Koops. Hooktail hits Mario down to 4 with more fire, and I hit with 2 more Fire Flowers. Hooktail's initial HP pool is down to 2 HP, and she uses a fire attack. That hits Koops, but joyfully misses Mario since he's low on HP. So since we win on this turn, I have Koops appeal so I can get my star power back, and then I finish off Phase 1. Unfortunately though, Hooktail now eats the audience, so I can no longer gain any star power. However, she only regained 10 HP with her meal, so 2 Fire Flowers get her down to 4 HP. And then she whacks Koops, taking him out. However, we obtained a life shroom in Hooktail Castle, meaning that we have both characters now ready for a full turn. So Koops uses a Fire Flower, and Mario also uses just 1 more, and we get our first Crystal Star. And we rescue Daddy. That's nice. With our first Crystal Star in tow, we now have our first special move, Earthshake. This can do up to 6 damage to all enemies on screen, and this means we are no longer reliant on items for damage. Yay! And after bringing our map to the door, we find out that the next Crystal Star is in Boggly Woods. Yay! And the merchant has a shooting star and a booze sheet, both of which I want to buy. Yay! At this point, I also get access to the west side of Rogueport, and here is where my run differs from Bringle's. The Pianta Parlor, where you can play games, try your luck at the slots, and win fabulous prizes, has a Super Appeal badge. And this badge, as you might have guessed from the name, strengthens Mario's appeal command, giving him more star power each time he appeals. And this stacks with more badges. So I decide to ban the Pianta Parlor from this playthrough. Unlimited Super Appeal badges just seems too broken. So I head on to Boggly Woods. And there, our new friend Flurry has lost her necklace, and she commissions us to get it back from the 3 girly ghosts. Our options are pretty limited, but since I have my new shooting star, I use it right away to deal 6 damage to all enemies. Koops follows that up with a Fire Flower, and that immediately takes out Beldum. And another Fire Flower finishes the battle in just 3 moves. So we give a round thing with 2 round things, another necklace of round things, we head into the big-ass tree, we get some new shoes that we'll never use, and then I realized I missed out on a crucial badge. In Flurry's house, there's a chest with a Super Appeal P badge. This badge will greatly increase the amount of star power we get when our partner appeals, allowing us to use star power more frequently and more economically since Mario is the only one who's able to use star power. So after grabbing that, I head back into the tree. So after a lifetime of blowing and indulging my paper airplane kink, we fight our way out of the tree a la Metroid. And unfortunately, there's a mandatory battle with some X-Nauts here that force me to use my star power to destroy them. And that leaves me with an empty star bar. But nonetheless, I head in to fight the boss of this section, the big bad robot which I will call the Crumpinator. I start things off by appealing to get back my star power, which takes a few turns. I put Koops in the front since his extra point of defense means a stomp attack will always whiff. And once my star power is back, I hit an Earth Tremor for 6 damage and start the process all over again. The next Earth Tremor hits for 6, but then the Crumpinator throws out its 2 arms, and with no star power left, my only choice is to use an item. So a Fire Flower takes out the arms and brings us to the halfway point. But unfortunately, Crump then uses a Quake Attack. This misses Mario, but knocks over Koops, who now can't do anything and has no additional defense point. So I use this time to continue to appeal with Mario, and he eventually gets up. Another Earth Tremor takes the Crumpinator down to 9 HP, and he throws hands again. And since I once again have no star power, I have no choice but to burn another Fire Flower. No pun intended. Unfortunately though, the Crumpinator knocks down Koops with another Quake Attack, but I appeal and wait for him to rise. And then he just gets knocked down again. So I let Mario take things into his own hands. Another Fire Flower takes out both hands once more. Mario appeals and completely refills his star gauge, and a final Earth Tremor destroys the Crumpinator, getting us our second Crystal Star. We head back to the city, plop our grody plumber butt onto the TTYD pedestal, and find out that our next destination is the Glitz Pit. As is often the case though, we have a spot of business to attend to before going through the main story. And the first victim of our spree is the guard leading to the east side of town. And while Mario can't jump on him because of his spiky lance, that's not in my current repertoire anyway, so we just Earth Tremor him and 4 of them take him out. So we rat out a surreptitious couple to the God Pianta, and we ride the big-ass blimp to the big-ass arena. But what's an ass arena?
That's a thick
Ass arena. Well, in this game, it's a stadium in which we fight 20 battles to win a belt. It's a really pretty belt, though. The struggle with this section is that the bed here restores health and FP, but it does not restore star power. That means that, like a banana, we're gonna have to do a lot of appealing. The rank 19 Goombas are taken out by a single Earth Tremor, but major fail. I forgot that the condition of the battle was to appeal to the audience once, so I have to do it again, and I am very sad. Don't I look sad? But not so sad that I can't try again. The condition is the same though, so I appeal to get back my star power. This fulfills the condition and we move on. Rank 18's Koopas require I win in 5 turns or fewer, so I fill up my star power and attack with an Earth Tremor, defeating them in 3. For the Spinies of rank 17, I'm required to take damage at least 3 times. Fortunately, I don't have enough star power to defeat them, so I appeal, use an Earth Tremor, and clean their clocks. And fortunately, I gain a level, which refills my star power. The rank 16 Dry Bones require a special move, and I'm more than willing to Earth Tremor them to death right away. For the rank 15 Lakitu and its Spinies, I appeal with Goombella and then defend with Mario. Unfortunately though, when I Earth Tremor, one of the Spinies is curled up and temporarily invincible. So I kill 3 of the enemies, but that one Spiny remains. Fortunately, one Spiny is no big deal, so I appeal and hit 1 more Earth Tremor to take it out. The rank 14 Bandits have a slightly larger HP pool, or rather the green ones do anyway, so the 2 red ones go down, one of the green ones runs away with my money, and I Earth Tremor the second one to death soon after. The rank 13 Cloud, Spider, and Plant Gang go down to a single Earth Tremor, and I use an Ice Storm to destroy the green rocks of rank 12, and the rank 11 Bob-ombs take just 1 Earth Tremor to go down. But now we tackle the run breaker of every challenge run, the Iron Adonises. These broskies can't be damaged by anything we've got. Our special moves and our items will simply whiff, so I run away and temporarily let them have the win. But who should come to our aid but Egg?
her.
This little guy hatches into a Yoshi whom we name Alaska.
Hi.
And this will be the one battle in the run in which we're forced to break the rules. Only Alaska can damage them, and she can only do it by spitting and swallowing them. So we gulp them down and spit them out, and because we only have 5 flower points, Mario uses a sweet treat to restore his FP. And then a second gulp removes these iron obstacles from my path. She takes them out in 2 hits, and I shed a tear for this dead challenge. Woe is me, I am sad, and if you comment about how I failed the challenge because of this one battle, despite the fact that I already talked about it in the video, I will laugh at you. Ha 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 ha! The rank 9 Spinies go down to 1 Earth Tremor, the rank 8 Bristles also go down to 1 Earth Tremor, and then we get the Super Hammer. And of course, this is another weapon that we will not be using in battle. In the rank 8 battle against the 3 Blue Koopas, the win condition is that the team must appeal 3 times, which is fortunate because my star power is depleted, meaning I'm gonna have to do that regardless. So I appeal a bunch, use an Earth Tremor, appeal some more, and Earth Tremor a second time, and they go down. Unfortunately, I level up, so my star power is restored for the next battle. But unfortunately, the Iron Adonises return here. But fortunately, you can just run from them and continue on to the Glitz Pit with no penalty. So on to rank 7, in which I fight 3 Fuzzies. And because they have low HP pools, 1 Earth Tremor takes them all out immediately. The rank 6 Magikoopas represent the first real challenge. I have to defeat them before they deal 20 HP of damage, but my star power is mostly depleted, so that's not the easiest thing to accomplish. So after I appeal, I use a clock out to stop them in their tracks. I Earth Tremor once, and then they come back to our timeline. And since I fear shenanigans, I use an Ice Storm to finish off all 3 before they can attack me again. At this point, Bowser returns to the fray, and rather than fight him, I elect to just run since this battle doesn't affect my Glitz Pit progress. Which brings me to the battle against rank 5's Crow Daddy. It will take 4 Earth Tremors to defeat him. The first 2 go off easily since I started the battle with a mostly full star power meter, and after that, it's just a matter of swapping in Koops for the extra defense power and replenishing my star gauge before I Earth Tremor and remove Crow Daddy from the game. We get a mysterious message after that, which allows me to get the Partner HP Plus badge, which I might need later, but I'm not really sure. And then we fight the Hammer Bros of rank 3. My star power is depleted from Crow Daddy, so I appeal to get more star power, get hit for a ton of damage, and then switch to Koops for his extra defense. I Earth Tremor for the first 6 damage, and then have Koops use an Ice Storm form to finish off the trio. Rank 2 is against 2 red chompies, and they only have 6 HP, so you know what that means. Appeal, and rather than using my Earth Tremor right away, I let Koops do an extra appeal for a spot of extra before I jump on my Starmobile and destroy the Chomp brothers. And now on to the second to last battle, rank 1 against the Koopinator. And as you might guess, the strategy is the same, except the condition of this battle is that we can't use special moves. And while I can't win the battle this time, I use this as an opportunity to build up my star power by appealing, and then I run. So I head back in, and the condition this time is to take less than 20 HP of damage. And guess what? I immediately bungle the battle terribly. I try to time out the Koopinator, and I just completely fail, freezing the team for 3 whole turns.
How did this happen? We're smarter than this.
Apparently not.
So I run, and I try one more time. And this time, the battle condition is something I can definitely do. Use at least 1 special move. So keeping things short and sweet, 5 Earth Tremors take him out. This brings us to the championship fight and gains us another level. And Rockhawk is our final obstacle before we can get his pretty belt. I put my partner in the front row and then use 1 Earth Tremor, 2 Earth Tremor, 3 Earth Tremor, and then I take a moment to heal with a Sweet Treat. I switch out to Flurry on the next turn to preserve partner HP, and I continue on appealing. I then use my next Earth Tremor number 3, 4, and 5, healing with Sweet Treat in between, which brings Rockhawk under half health. Then he climbs up on a beam to drop some pots and pans, which actually overall do less than his normal attacks did, and I use Earth Tremor number 6. And sadly, this knocks him down onto the floor. And I say that's sad because now he can use his regular attacks. But because of my extremely proactive healing, I'm able to appeal up to 2 star power and hit him with 1 more Earth Tremor, taking him out. But even though we've won the championship, we have 1 more challenge. Grubba. So the grind begins, of course, with an Earth Tremor. Grubba loves to give himself a haste status so he can do 2 attacks, but this wastes 1 of his turns, so I'm able to hit with a second Earth Tremor. So he boosts and attacks, dealing 5 damage to Mario, and I appeal to get more star power. But here's where things get a little bit easier, because Grubba next boosts his defense, and star power completely goes through almost all defense enhancements. So he still takes 6 damage from the next Earth Tremor. He next makes himself dodgy, and since I'm not sure if that affects star power or not, and let me know if it does in the comments, I take that as a good time to just appeal some more. His next turn, he reapplies the haste status, which of course wastes his turn, so I Earth Tremor again. But unfortunately, I only do 5 damage because I missed the action command, which again is sad. He wastes his next turn increasing his defense, and the one after making himself dodgy, so I'm able to get off another one after a couple of weak attacks. But I almost completely missed the action command and I only do 2 damage, which is a super fail. Oh my god, what is wrong with me today? In any case, this cycle continues and I play pretty conservatively, healing with Sweet Treat when necessary. So eventually I get him down to 3 HP and hit him with 1 final Earth Tremor, taking him out and earning our 3rd Crystal Star. The next destination is Twilight Town, and there are only 3 real boss battles here. The first is an optional battle against Big Boo, and he doesn't have too much going for him beyond a bunch of HP, and it's only 40. So I get him down to halfway, but then a screaming attack confuses Mario and he attacks Alaska. And this status effect is the worst one in the game. Just wait until we get farther and somebody else can cast it. It's awful. But he soon breaks through his confusion status and uses an Earth Tremor. I have him Sweet Treat a couple times soon after, and we're back to business. I use another Earth Tremor, but then Big Boo throws a bunch of ghosts at Mario, making him unable to attack for 3 turns. So I have Alaska heal him with a Super Mushroom and a Slow Shroom, and he eventually comes out of it. Unfortunately though, right before he does, Alaska gets confused. However, our star power is near full, so I use an Earth Tremor to bring Big Boo down to 4 HP. And fortunately, Alaska just defends instead of attacking Mario, and I wait for him to recover. Unfortunately though, Big Boo confused him a second time right as he was about to come out of it, so it's time for Mario to appeal for his life. Alaska does not break through confusion to appeal, but Mario is able to get his star power to 2 independently, and then 1 final Earth Tremor takes out Big Boo. This gets us the Lucky Start badge. So with this and the 2 Pretty Lucky badges, we have some nice bonuses that will help us in future battles. Boss number 2 is a slightly smaller ghost, but this one has the same amount of HP but far less attack. attack strength. So as you might imagine, I'm able to earth tremor him to death within minutes. So we get our 4th crystal star, question mark, and then realize we've been body snatched. Don't you hate when that happens? And the only way to get our body back is to guess his name. But I think I know what it is. It's definitely Roxy.
For someone who calls himself a top, you sure do like being on the bottom.
Okay, that's not really fair. Let me recruit a purple ghost and try that again, because it's definitely got meek.
So I'm here to show you how to beat your face for the god.
Okay, well, somehow this feels rigged against me. But I have a jolt of inspiration after I pee myself a little. I guess the name is Dupless, despite being a 50-50 because I thought it might be Katya, and then we head into the boss fight. I didn't mention it before, but Mario now has some extra defense, meaning I have a lot more leeway to stall than I did before. And while Earth Tremor attacking the party hasn't been that useful for boss battles before, in this one, it's quite nice. We start off with 1, and it gets Goombella down pretty low. Goombella's attacks completely whiff, and Dupless's are healed off by the lucky start badge effect. And then we're joined by Vivian. And because Dupless's attacks are complete nothing burgers and we have Vivian appealing, we're able to earth tremor him to death pretty quickly, actually getting us our 4th crystal star. With our neck, back, pussy, and hat returned to us, it's now time for a vacation in Keelhaul Key. But before that, I go on a quest to recruit a very squeaky meat shield named Miss Mouse. And I also grab a very round bobbery and hop on a very flimsy pirate ship. But how do I know it's flimsy? Well, because a bunch of ghosts are able to capsize it. And any boat that can be destroyed by ghosts clearly isn't very sturdy, is it? So don't buy a boat. But of course, the main feature of this chapter is that Mario learns to turn into a boat. And let me tell you that if a man who could turn into a boat slipped into my DMs, I would double shake, wait.
My god.
Anyway, the boss battle is with Cortez, but I finally have a new toy to play with, Art Attack, and this move is great. If you're good at it, you can generally get up to 18 damage in a single attack on a smaller enemy. Unfortunately, Cortez is a medium-sized enemy, so this is a bit difficult. So on my first Art Attack, I only get 9 damage off. I use 2 more Earth Tremors to remove the rest of his health, and I move on to Phase 2. And Phase 2 is very similar to Phase 1. My Art Attack does 10 damage this time, which doesn't seem too worthwhile, but my second does only 9, meaning I did not make a very efficient move. However, a shy guy drops a bucket on his head, and that brings us on to Phase 3. And this is where things get fun, because in Phase 3, Cortez has 4 weapon friends that can attack me. However, each one only has 4 HP, so a Thunder Rage drops them all, allowing me to appeal. And then, to add insult to injury, Cortez's attack misses. So I keep appealing, Cortez attacks again, and his attack only does 1 damage because of my badges. When they rise again, I hit Cortez and the 4 swords with an Earth Shake. Unfortunately though, Cortez then eats the audience and heals. But nonetheless, I keep appealing and I ultimately switch out Alaska because her HP goes low. The sword friends come back, I Earth Tremor, they go down again, and I keep appealing. But then, disaster strikes. A crazy daisy sings a lullaby and puts the audience to sleep, and then it runs away. And this means that I can't gain a single point of star power by appealing. Although I did try it out one time to see if it would work. It didn't. So I wait, defend, and pray I don't miss my action commands. But I do, and after a couple of turns, everyone wakes up and I appeal. But now Cortez is a small enemy, just a skull, which means he's easy to paint circles around. And that means my Art Attack does 15 damage and takes him out, getting us our 5th crystal star. But there's one more boss to fight, Lord Crumpy Bumpy. And fortunately, he's another small enemy. But my first Art Attack, due to my own foolishness, does only 11 damage. But my second does 15, leaving Crump with only 4 health and depositing his cronies on the ceiling. Fortunately, their attacks do literally nothing to Mario, so I use the time to appeal and ultimately use an Earth Tremor to finish off Crump's HP as well as that of his hanging dudes. But then he goes and has a quick wank to restore his HP and he rises anew. I hit 2 Earth Tremors to start and then I appeal for my life. I also have Mario use a Fire Flower to make the next part just a little bit easier, namely my Art Attack, because now Crump has 15 HP, which should be pretty easy for an Art Attack. But can I do it? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So Lord Crump crumps, and we head back to Rogueport. Our next destination is the EXs Express, which to me is the most boring chapter of the game. So we'll make this quick because all that happens is that I get the Ultra Boots and spend an hour getting to the boss, the Mothy Grabby guy. I start with an Earth Tremor to take out the arms, and hooray, it's successful. Unfortunately though, that doesn't damage the main body, but given the amount of star power I have now, I'm able to use an art attack afterward for 9 damage, which really isn't a good showing all things considered. Fortunately though, when guarded against, the arms don't do any damage to Mario, so the start of this battle is pretty safe. I have Bobber use another Thunder Rage to remove the arms, and then I go in for an art attack again. And this time, I figure it out. I deal 10 with my art attack this time, and then follow up with an Earth Tremor for 6 more. Unfortunately though, this bolus of damage brings the Grabby monster to phase 2, and its Pinchy attack now does 8 damage. It would have done less had I hit the block, but c'est la vie. I can't fix that now. So I rally, and I have Bobber use a Shooting Star, and Mario uses an HP drain to buy some time. I have Bobbery appeal, and Mario defends to prevent damage from the next attack. Bobbery appeals once again, and Mario uses an Earth Tremor to take out the claw and get the central unit down to 8 HP. And rather than risk it, I use an Earthquake and a Thunder Rage to finish off the battle and take the EXs Express to Poshley Heights. And there, I not only get the Luigi badge, which lets me turn Mario into Waluigi. Oh god, where did I get the Wario badge? I don't remember, but editor, can you show the clip and we'll do one of those wavy things with the flashback? Woo! Not stray away from, like, suffering in this game. And of course, you all know I love suffering. Ooh, yeah, we're doing it. You guys, we're doing it. It's Wario. It's time to play Paper Wario. Oh, you don't have to pay now? Oh, I didn't realize that. I paid the money. You guys ready for Super Wario? Yeah! Okay, so Mario is now Waluigi, and we grab Crystal Star number 6. The next Crystal Star is on the moon, and I think that's neat. So we seek out some of the bombs, load up the cannon, and blast off. And after a quiz and grabbing some Ultra Shrooms, we head in to fight the Crumpinator, the remix. But since I haven't learned a single lesson, I start off with an art attack. And naturally, I only do 9 damage with it. But fortunately, his main attack only does 1 damage to Mario when guarded, so I'm feeling pretty secure. Crump poops out his arms at this point, and I use an art attack to do 9 more damage to Crump and destroy his arms. I guard his next couple attacks and then do another 9 damage with an art attack. And then it's time to appeal, Earth Tremor the arms and Crump again, and rinse and repeat. My next art attack takes Crump down lower than half health, so he sucks up the audience and tosses them at Alaska. But because I have a ton of defensive badges, the entire attack only does 3 damage. So I make like a banana once again and appeal. My next art attack does 11, which is a nice improvement, and then I'm able to Earth Tremor for another 6, bringing Crump down to just 11 HP. Really close. So Alaska and Mario appeal, the arms come out again, and another Earth Tremor gets him down to 5 HP. So with 1 more Earth Tremor, I'm able to take out the Crumpinator and get our 7th Crystal Star. So now we're in the final stretch. We jump over some fire bars, which honestly was an enormous failure on my part, and use some of the enemies here to replenish my star power. And then our next mini-boss battle is with the final dry bones, the blue bones. And gosh, don't you hate it when someone leaves you with blue bones? I art attack this little bugger, but then Flurry gets frozen by his ice storm. But fortunately, their bone attacks don't do too much, and I'm able to appeal up to art attack level. And the next art attack completely demolishes the group of bony bandits. That gets me another level and makes me realize how few battles I've actually fought. I literally get 73 star points from this battle, which is insane. The next battle is with Gloomtail, who actually might be a challenge, and he shows that he probably will be right away by dealing massive damage with breath and bite attacks. And given that art attacks aren't that reliable on Gloomtail, I elect to use Supernovas after my first one, since they'll do a flat 15 damage if I do them right. I use a Super Mushroom to heal Mario next since he's running low, but then I basically just hope for good Sweet Treat performance to slowly gain more star power. Not that that goes particularly well, but I'm also stalling for misses. With the Pretty Lucky badge, there's a good chance Gloomtail will just whiff on breath attacks, which is nice. But anyway, once Alaska's health goes low, I switch her out for Bobbery and continue on. And eventually, I get a stroke of luck because a ghost makes Mario invincible for a turn, allowing me to appeal instead of healing. And eventually, another Supernova does 15 damage, and we're about halfway through the battle. So Gloomtail now starts using bounce attacks, which hit for a ton of damage. And on the second one, Mario goes down, but he's fortunately revived by a life shroom. Boggly eventually gets low, and I bring in Flurry. I also use an ultra shroom on Mario, which helps him to stay alive and is crucial because after the next turn, a Crazy Daisy once again puts the audience to sleep, meaning I have to defend for a few more turns to stall it out. But eventually, everyone wakes up, I continue the cycle, and I get off another supernova. So we're down to just 30 health now. I switch out Flurry at this point for Koops, and then Gloomtail charges up a massive attack, killing Mario and using up my final life shroom. But now Gloomtail attacks Koops only with a claw, giving me some extra time to plan. But also, Gloomtail charges up once again, meaning it's time for my secret weapon, a Boo Sheet. This allows Mario to become invincible without the assistance of a Boo and survive the next two attacks without any issue. Unfortunately, Koops goes down though, so I have to waste a turn bringing in Vivian. But then it's time for another supernova, meaning one more will take out Gloomtail. But rather than appeal with Vivian, I have her use a Thunder Rage, bringing Gloomtail down to 10 HP. And rather than apply more offensive pressure, Gloomtail simply charges up for another huge attack. That means that Vivian and Mario can now use Thunder Rage and HP Drain to finish him off. And we get yet another level for Gloomtail, restoring all of our resources. So far, we've died one time. Ignore the 3 at the top because I was using the wrong template. Sorry, guys. So we collect all the temple keys and attempt to head to the final boss gauntlet. Unfortunately, though, we're stopped by Dupless, Beldum, and Marion. I start by hitting Beldum with an 18 damage art attack. She'll make life completely miserable with her status effects. And the attacks of the 3 sisters, or 2 sisters plus Shapeshifter really, don't touch me. Another art attack takes out Beldum and does some residual damage to Marion, who then charges up for a huge attack. I use another art attack on Marion, which gets her pretty close to death, and she takes Mario down to 4 HP. So I heal with a Sweet Treat and keep on appealing. She misses her next attack, and Duplessis does nothing, so we rinse and repeat. Marion then charges up again, but I'm able to finish her off with an art attack, ending the worst part of this battle. And with only Dupless left, and specifically a Dupless who has transformed into Yoshi, there's no way we're losing. His attacks do 0 damage to both Mario and Yoshi, but to add insult to injury, he gets a bucket dropped on his head that makes him dizzy, and he's unable to connect a bunch of his attacks anyway. So one more art attack and an earth tremor take him out, and we move on to our next challenge. And that challenge is Grotus. Grotus is a bit problematic because he can construct a shield that blocks all damage with his groupies. But as long as he doesn't have 4 of them, all of our attacks will deal full damage and be unaffected by his defenses. Unfortunately, he does start out with 4 of them, so I open with an earth tremor from Mario and an appeal from Alaska to get things rolling. After that, I go for an art attack. It does 2 things. It both hits Grotus for big damage and takes out his groupies, so I have Alaska appeal again. And I do the same thing on the next turn, bringing Grotus down to 23 HP. At this point, though, Mario's getting a little bit tired, so I have him Sweet Treat rather than attack so I can play it safe. But fortunately, the Grotus groupies do no damage to my characters. I have Alaska take them out with a Fire Flower, while Mario heals with a Sweet Treat for maximal safety. From here, though, it's hard to get momentum. I'd love to be able to spend time restoring star power, but if I do, Grotus's groupies will just completely whack me, so I take a risk and use an Earth Tremor, bringing Grotus down to 17. And this pays off since he tries to stop the party, but because of our Feeling Fine badges, that status misses. So Grotus just wasted his turn. And since Grotus only has 17 HP left and I want to finish this battle quickly, I have Alaska use an Ice Storm and Mario heal with an Ultra Shroom. So after I take down Grotus's shield with an Earth Tremor, I switch out Alaska for Vivian and I use a Shooting Star to get rid of all of the Grotus groupies. From there, I have Vivian use a Thunder Rage and Mario Sweet Treat to heal, hoping for a big number, which I don't get. I only get 6. Grotus uses a Fire Attack, which brings Mario down to 2 HP, and 2 Shooting Stars finish him off. And we get another level, which restores our star power. But who should drop in but Bowser and Kammy Koopa? The big danger is Kammy, who can boost Bowser and make his attacks hit harder, but nonetheless, I start with a Supernova to hit them both for 15 damage. I do a couple more appeals and hit Kammy alone with an art attack since she's tiny, and I manage to do 18 damage, which I think is the maximum, but let me know in the comments if you've ever managed to get 21 damage in on an art attack, specifically in the remake. Unfortunately though, Kammy then heals herself, but at least that's a waste of her turn. But after my appeals, she attacks Vivian, so I'm forced to sub her out for Boggly. My next art attack again does 18, but Kammy heals herself for 8 again. But this puts her at 18 HP, meaning if I can get a good art attack off, I can defeat her. Unfortunately though, she heals herself again, ruining that plan, and I hit her and Bowser with an Earth Tremor to get her off her broom and bring her closer to her demise. Another Earth Tremor brings her to 14, and in a stroke of luck, Mario gets buffed by a friendly ghost. So I have him Sweet Treat to buy some time, and I appeal as usual. Cammy then wastes her turn making Bowser invisible, which won't block special attacks, and I make a big move here. Rather than healing, despite the fact that Mario is at 1 HP and kind of needs it, I art attack Cammy to remove her from the picture instead. So I need some good luck on Bowser's next move, and he jumps on Bobbery, which is perfect. So I heal Mario up with Sweet Treat a few times, and Bowser chokes, using some of his less powerful attacks and allowing me to recover both Mario and Bobbery. But once I get my heal and star power in a better place, it's time to let loose. My first art attack hits for 14, and then I repeat the stalling process again, waiting for some juicy misses from Bowser. And once I get one, I go in with another art attack and get 15 damage with it. Bowser's now down to 6 HP, so one more Earth Tremor takes him out and brings us to the final boss, the Shadow Queen. And would you imagine, the Shadow Queen battle was awful and filled with suffering. And if you love watching me suffer, consider joining the Tantacles. By causing their wallets to suffer a loss of $5 per month, they get early access to all of my videos, special previews, exclusive channels in the Tantacles Discord server, and my undying gratitude. So if you love the videos I make, have some extra cash lying around, and want to make sure no one ever buys a boat ever again, please join the Tantacles and donate to my channel. It really helps support the work that I do. And if you aren't as loaded as Flavio is, please check to make sure you're subscribed to this channel. It's free, and it will help me in my ongoing campaign against Captain Tantacles, his seamen, and the yacht they serve on. Thank you, and I appreciate each and every one of you. The Shadow Queen is hot, and I want her to step on me, but she's also a very difficult boss. In the first battle with her, she has 2 phases. In the first, she's vulnerable to all attacks, and you just need to lower her HP as quickly as possible before she can try to kill you. So I start with a Supernova, which was a stupid move because she's tiny, and then an art attack. And I do 15 damage with that as well. She loves to boost herself so she can do more damage, but she also sometimes boosts her defense, which doesn't help her against any of my attacks. So I wait to get my HP and star power high before I use my next art attack and get her down to 104. But then, once again, a crazy daisy puts the audience to sleep and I have to stall. I switch out Bobbery because he's getting low, and once everyone wakes up, I appeal again and use an Earth Tremor. I'm trying to have a good amount of star power before I have her change phase, but I do eventually bring her to that second phase, which starts around 89 HP, with an art attack. At this point, all you need to do is hit her 3 times. So I hit once with an Earth Tremor, have Flurry Appeal, and hit with a second one. But once again, a crazy daisy puts the audience to sleep, so I have to burn a shooting star to finish her first phase. But the real final boss is now here, and is also a bit handsy for my liking, honestly. And the first thing I do is use an art attack to kill both hands and damage the Shadow Queen for 12 health. Another Earth Tremor does 6 damage, but unfortunately it can't kill the hand horde, meaning they can deal some damage to Mario. And things become dire now. The Shadow Queen boosts up for a huge attack, and I'm forced to heal with Sweet Treat. And I miss the guard on the attack, leaving Mario at 3 HP and forcing me to deal with the big hands that emerge. And unfortunately, I realize that I've made a huge mistake. Oh, Shadow Queen's attacks pierce? I didn't know that. I had a bunch of Defend Plus and Defense Plus P badges equipped, which means that I've wasted a ton of badge points because only the Hand Smacky attack uses the defense stat. My first Life Shroom gets used when the Shadow Queen is around 105 HP, and since there are hands, I have to Earth Tremor. And then the big hands come back, so I have to Earth Tremor again. The reason is that the big hands will heal her, leading to me having less chance of winning the battle of attrition. And on the very next turn, Mario gets hit hard by the hand horde, and my final Life Shroom gets used. She's only down to 75 HP when I use my last Ultra Shroom, and I Earth Tremor to get rid of the hands again. But then the Shadow Queen charges up for a big attack, and Flurry goes down, which means my turn is wasted. And the Shadow Queen chokes a little. She exchanges for the small hands, and they only do a few damage to Mario. I try to stall with Sweet Treat, but Koops goes down. And the game mocks me at this point. So bad. Now? Now you do this? Are you kidding me? Are you flippin' kidding me? Oh, I hate my life. It makes Mario invisible despite the fact that I have no chance of winning, and I switch out Koops in a futile attempt to win. I use one last Earth Tremor to defeat the two big hands, but the Shadow Queen strikes with lightning and misses. Really? Now? Why not before? Okay, editor, stop it. Play the sad Pokemon music, please. The hand horde runs through Mario and he dies. Fortunately, though, I can fix my poor preparation. In an amazing decision to improve quality of life, the developers added a pipe that transports the player directly back to Rogueport. Is that actually a change? I didn't check. Can somebody let me know in the comments? I literally don't know. But I think it's a change. I don't remember it being there before. Anyway, I go back and fix up my item stock. I buy an Ultra Shroom from the Big Mustache Merchant. I sell my Gem and Jellies because I can't use them on this run. And I head to Far Far Outpost to buy some Shooting Stars. And in terms of my badges, I remove my Defend Plus badges first. I have both Pretty Lucky and Pretty Lucky P equipped with the hope my characters will dodge. For more dodging, I equip my Close Call and Close Call P badges because those will help me dodge in a dire situation. I also equip Quick Change in case a partner dies, and I also equip all the Damage Dodge and Damage Dodge P badges I have. These will reduce damage if I hit a guard action command. And finally, I equip Last Stand and Last Stand P just in case my characters aren't able to dodge at critical health. Oh, and I also equip the P down D up badge since that's basically a cheaper Defense Plus badge. So I head back in and here's the speed round. We're gonna Cliff Notes the first battle since we know it's survivable. The main goal is to survive without using any items since we may need those for the second battle. So my goal is to get the Shadow Queen to 89 HP while I have a ton of star power left. That way, I can attack 3 times to immediately end the battle. I do this, and I get off 2 Earth Tremors with no issue. But unfortunately, the Shadow Queen uses a breath attack and confuses Mario right before the third attack. And instead of using the Earth Tremor I asked him to, Mario switches out Flurry, who I switched in for protection, to the very frail Ms. Mouse. And that means the Shadow Queen is able to take out Mario and waste one of my life shrooms before I head on to the second battle. And here, I get the Shadow Queen down to 45 HP, but she's able to use a breath attack to confuse both Mario and Vivian once again. I'm able to switch out Vivian, but Mario attacks Alaska, and the Shadow Queen attacks us in return and misses. And I've lost a lot of momentum, and the Shadow Queen confuses Mario again. He manages to get off 1 Earth Tremor, but then the Shadow Queen hits with lightning, ending my second try. On the third try, though, the first battle has an amazing result. I get the Shadow Queen to phase 2 with 4 units of star power and hit 2 Earth Tremors. However, Mario is at low health, and I have to pray that the Shadow Queen doesn't go after him. The first hand hits Bobbery, the second hand hits Bobbery, and the Shadow Queen lightnings Bobbery. So I use my final Earth Tremor to end the battle. And now we're on to the second part. I start with an Earth Tremor to get rid of the hands, and then I go in with a big art attack. I make it my goal to get rid of the big hands whenever possible, and I definitely have some close calls. Not the greatest, but I'll survive. Yes, okay, saved myself there. 1 HP. I also try to swap out the partners when their HP is as low as possible without letting them use life shrooms. Those are for Mario. And with the extra shooting star items I bought, I can hit the big hands when they come out, even if I don't have any star power. I also have a few lucky moments. That's fine. Small hands is better. 5, good. Ha! Good turn. Wow. A ghost makes me invisible, which basically just makes my items last longer, and Mario dodges a boosted lightning attack that would have killed him. Oh! Missed! Once I get her to 26 HP, though, I get pretty nervous. I hit with a massive art attack for 15 HP, and then a Boo shows me some love with invisibility. I hit the Shadow Queen with an Earth Tremor, which destroys both big hands, and I have Vivian appeal to fill my star meter. Then the Shadow Queen goes bonkers and lightnings Mario, and the small hands hit him for 8 damage. But my star power is full, and I hit hard with 1 more Earth Tremor, killing the Shadow Queen and proving that literally anyone with access to the crystal stars and some items could have done it. And if you want to see this challenge done with only Mario, click this link right here. Much love, thank you for watching, and don't buy a boat. I didn't know why Tantacles hates boats so much. You're a chicken, Tantacles. Man up and buy a boat. I'm actually not Scottish. Sorry.